As we get ready to take our boat out of winter storage, we couldn't help but look back on last winter. 35 degrees in the cabin as we did some interior work, clearing out a storage space that was full of stuff below our lower steering station. Got that done. Moved on to the engine area. Put in a new stern bilge pump and did some work on the trim tab pump. Also fun and really cold. And then in April, time to clean the bimini top, which of course is full of stuff from the winter. Then we dry it, then we waterproof it. We let it dry again, and then I take it back down to the boat and make a fool of myself trying to put it back up. Everyone gets a laugh out of that every year. But now it's May 14th, and we kick off from the dock at Portland, Connecticut. 62 mile trip. There goes a big log disappearing on the right side of the screen. We see lots of those today, and got to be careful of them. The trip is 62 miles. Connecticut River to Long Island Sound, to the Thames River, and north to Norwich, Connecticut. It's much colder than we thought it was going to be. I'm wearing a winter coat, gloves, or at least one glove anyway. And off we went, wind in our face. 20 miles later, I'm getting pretty cold, but we're forging on, and we're entering Haddam, which is a really nice, picturesque little town. River is not completely dead today. We did see one boat being towed upriver, large power boat. Undoubtedly hit something in the river. We've been steering around logs and branches and stuff for the last 20 miles, and we're probably going to do it for the next 15 miles. We're on the west side of the river now, crossing over to the east side, which we do every couple miles, following the channel, which weaves back and forth, up and down. Kind of used to it. We've been doing this for a long time, so. Just a little further down the river, we're entering the village of East Haddam. On the right is a marina called Midway. Very few boats in the water. Kind of surprised. And here it is a Monday morning, and nobody's working. Kind of surprised. But around the next corner, we'll be halfway there. And we'll get to slow down a little bit. There are a number of no-wake zones here, which are pretty ridiculous at this time of the year, but we tend to follow them anyway, just because you never can tell who's trying to launch a boat, fishermen or something on the side. Might as well be careful. We'd like to hurry, but we're not going to. Just head on down. A little less wind now, and we see sky is brightening to the south, which is good because that's where we're going. And we could use some brightening. It's the East Haddam Swing Bridge. It's pretty well known. Kind of a tourist attraction in the summer. It's been flooded during the last week, or up to flood stage. I'm not sure that's over the roadway, but it's no clearance. We've been watching it really closely, and it appeared to be down enough for us to get under. I mean, we've gone under this bridge 100 times, I suppose, many times in the spring, and we've always fit. So I'm thinking we're going to fit this year too. There's no gauge, a depth gauge, up on the upside of the river, unfortunately, so we can't tell what their clearance really is. But that looks pretty good for us. I don't think we'll hit the antennas or anything. And we don't. But it was close. The gauge on the downriver side says 21 feet. We need about 18. So, gotta be careful. But at this point, nature calls, so we just kick the engines into neutral and head below. Let the boat drift. And it's drifted surprisingly little in the brief time we were in the head. But can't waste any time here. Got to head downriver. This is all wide open space, wide open water. The channel is to the right, but there's a group of summer homes, small ones, behind that clump of trees, so no sense roaring through there and destroying the little docks and stuff they've built. We'll just take it easy and just go past slowly. It's definitely getting brighter now. Love to take off my winter coat, but it's still pretty breezy. The channel is still on the west side of the river, so we follow that line of trees around, which we're going to do, and we'll be coming up on the Middlesex Yacht Club, which turns out only had 3 or 4 boats in the water, but they belong to somebody, so let's take it easy. As far as the boat's concerned at this point, engines are running perfectly, no issues or problems. She always seems to come through for us. Wish I had a heater up in the flybridge though. We've got about 15 miles at this point. From here we're going to go through Essex, where we saw a piling about 40 feet long, floating right in the middle of the channel. You really have to watch out, in the spring particularly, and after a heavy rainstorm, which we've had here. That's the Middlesex Yacht Club on the right. The trip from here is easier because the channel is wider in most cases, and because the river is wider, you see less debris out where the channel is. So you've probably seen enough of the river at this point, so let's move ahead a little bit and let's get this trip going. After waiting at the old Saybrook Railroad Bridge for 22 minutes for it to open, after calling them on the radio 2 times, and they said, "Oh yeah, in a minute, sir." No, it wasn't a minute. It was almost a half an hour we waited for the bridge to go up. It has a clearance of about 6 feet, so we can't make that. But the forecast was for very calm seas in the Sound, and that looks like it exactly what it's going to be. Thank goodness. No other boat traffic. Well, we saw one other boat in this whole lower section of the river. So You know, nobody around. It's okay for us. So we turn east, that's the left. 15 miles of Long Island Sound. And we get to exactly where we want to be. New London Harbor. Magically in that time, the sky's cleared, the sun's come out, you can actually feel a little warmth. So let's head up the river. About 12 miles upriver towards Norwich, we see the iconic Mohegan Sun Casino, and a part of the river that you want to pay very close attention to because there are dikes on the left and right that can ensnare you pretty easily. So we always watch the channel markers up here pretty carefully. We've seen some big boats ground up here over the years, so it's not a place to get complacent. But around that corner is Norwich, and that's where we're going. Here we can turn on our stern camera and just see what it looks like from the back. The trees are really not fully leafed out yet, so it's a late spring. And we're coming into our little fairway, south side of the marina. Had to be there. You see the dock guys are on the end of the dock. And we get in a little further. And we notice that we're going kind of fast. We're not going that fast in the summer. We slow down a little bit more. Some of the boats that store in the water up here still have their shrink wrap on them. Very few people here. And this is the time we come every year. This is not particularly early for us. Maybe a few days, but. So let's cut the speed down a little bit here. The river that we're in here is flowing against us. And the wind is doing the same thing. So when we turn to back into our slip, it's going to catch us. I mean, it's done that before. No big deal, but it's going to make it a little bit harder. This is a dock where we keep our boat. One of our dock neighbors is already there. And let's see if we can back in. Don't want to be a spoiler, but we don't make it on the first try. Or the second. Or the third. I've forgotten quite how many it took, but we did make it. That wind was pushing us back. Woo, I tell you. Fun to get to practice. Not. Let's see about this try. The wind blowing us right around. No, sorry. Our dock advisors are here. Francis is standing down there, getting ready to give us that moral support we need to dock. No, we didn't make that one at all. Let's try again. Fresh start is always good. I always wanted to put in a pair of those stern-facing throttles and clutches so I could stand looking backwards. Maybe I'll do that one of these years. Oh, there we go. Trouble with that one is that's not our slip. That's the one next to ours. So let's stop there. There we go. Okay, this time we're really going to do it. Let's get serious here. Let the wind blow. We don't care. In we go. Oh, such a good feeling you get behind those, between those two pilings. Yeah.
We got you.
We know. You haven't got me until I shut the engines off. It's Francis waiting for us. jump on the boat in a few minutes and see how dirty I made it during the winter. Sure, real quick. We'll do that. Alrighty. I think we're back. I think there's a line or two on. And we're getting ready for a nice, long boating summer. You can just put that on there. I can tie it up.